So it's 11:20 and we're back on the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. And we're joined by Vanessa. We have it as Vanessa Sauls. She also goes as Vanessa Nelson as well. Good morning, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Fazila, and thank you for hosting us.
Together with Vanessa, we have a concerned parent who is Miss Ruby Naya. We're also going to have Miss Ruby speak to us on the impact that this particular topic has on her personally. Good morning, Miss Ruby.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today. So let's get straight into it. Vanessa, give us a little bit of a background into you.
Okay. So, Hope for the Future was founded. I'm born and bred in Heidelberg. Hope for the Future was founded in 2006, only registered in 2012. However, the organization was founded because of my son, my firstborn, who had a learning disability. And so when I found out about his learning disability, I needed to understand because at 6 he was diagnosed with ADD, and at 8 years old he was diagnosed with ADHD. For me, as a parent invested in my children's education, I needed to understand what does that mean. And so fast forward, my son, I then removed him out of the mainstream because of his learning disability. And I then made sure that he had an education fitting around his needs. And so he's turning 30 next month. However, 24 years later, I find that the system that didn't fit wasn't fitting for my son is currently the same system in place for children now in 2022. And so for the Future is a nonprofit. We have various programs, but the main program is the one to that where we try and support children and parents who's got children who struggles with learning disabilities. And so we find that it's a challenge at all of our schools. We have 7 primary schools, and yes, that is just a passion.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So let's just get straight into it, okay? So just for our learners, a learning disability is actually a neurological condition. It affects the brain's ability to actually send, receive, and process information as well. Now, with these learning disabilities, we do know that you can have disabilities like dyslexia. They have ADHD, they have quite a few of these disorders. Now, some of these disorders they work together. Others, just like Vanessa spoke to us about her son having two disorders. So tell us what issues have you noticed with children who've encountered these learning disabilities?
Okay, so I'm going to speak of my experience. So what I found is that my son had a photographic memory, whereby I think I would not have picked it up if I didn't pick up that when he was reading, he was looking away. So he would memorize his reading books that was sent home. And so he would say if the teacher was reading that specific book in class, he will, unless not interrupted, he will capture from the front of the cover to the back page, the very last page. And so when I picked up he had this ability, I then realized my son had to learn, he couldn't read. And so I sat with him and so on, but he was also hyper. And then, and his concentration span was very low. Shadley's concentration span was 5 seconds and he would get bored. And so at a very young age and being in grade 2 and 1, 2, and 3, I realized as a mom, my son had a challenge in absorbing and in concentrating and trying to focus. And so I then did the necessary what I had to do for my son. But what I find now with children with all of these learning disabilities, it is being picked up in the mainstream because they're in the foundation phase. And then there's no systems in place for children like this. So the ADD, the ADHD, your autism, your dyslexia, fetal alcohol syndrome, children, all of these things. So there's a lot of disadvantages that comes with that. And what we find is that the current curriculum does not It's not an inclusive curriculum with children who suffers with learning disabilities. The department calls it intellectual disabilities, and that is just what it is. However, even though they've acknowledged it over the years, so for me, after 24 years having had successful story where my son is concerned, and as a mom, I did what I needed to do. I've done. I'm a qualified assessor and facilitator, especially for this, and so I'm able to assess a child and I'm able to offer some sort of support for parents and also the children. However, the department or the HOD or the system that's placed at the primary schools in foundation phase does not capture these children in time, and so there is no support offered. The teachers themselves is not equipped to deal with children who's got a learning disability, and so we find that they are just passed on through the system. And hence the reason for Rubine being here, because her daughter has been through the same thing, and whereby she was just passed on, left in the dark, and now being on high school, and it's now a great challenge, and she's 16 already. So the system that is currently in all of our schools is fitting for children who's academically sound, but it's not made for children or built around children who's got a learning disability. And for me, if that hasn't changed in 24 years and still in 2022, we still have the same problem with regards to the curriculum, the current curriculum, and not enough schools of skills or special schools built for children. We will continue to have this breeding of gangsterism, drug abuse, young teenagers having children, dropouts, and the list is endless. There is I believe, there is a deliberate attempt to withhold our kids because the Freedom Charter speaks to equal quality education. The Constitution and the Children's Act speaks about education, but not in any way does it speak of children with learning disabilities and how they need to be supported and a curriculum that is fitting for their needs. That has never happened. It doesn't seem that is going to happen. Even though the department speaks of now for the last 2 years, ironically in COVID, they've come up with a system for children who suffers with, they in fact identified it, and that they have some sort of program in place for children with learning disabilities. That's a bit too late. For me, I would like to know who's going to there's no accountability, there's no recourse for the amount of children who's lost in the system that we have currently on file. No recourse, no intervention, no support, absolutely nothing. And so, who is going to ensure that those children have some kind of hope for a brighter future other than just sitting on street corners? And for me, that is where I'm at right now. For the children who's in grade 10 who cannot read, is going to become dropouts. For the children currently in the foundation phase, where the support is there, the schools is not just implementing it because they are overcrowded. What is going to happen if and the questions are not, the relevant questions are not being asked. If you look at, if in grade R you start off as 30, so you come, when you leave exit foundation phase, you like 22. And when you leave high school, you go to high school, there's about 15. And at the end of the day, when they complete matric, there's less than 10 or maybe. So why are these questions not being asked? If 30 learners start together, grade R, why is it that not even a 10% finishes and completes matric? So there is a concern, and that concern needs to be looked at, and needs to be investigated, and accountability needs to take place.
Vanessa, you've actually raised some very, very pertinent points, especially when it comes to the children, the education, and the impact that it's actually having on them. With the department, there is something called the learners with special educational needs, where the school had to actually come up with a program, especially when it comes to private schools, etc. They do come up with a program as part of the registration process for them to have an ALSIN plan in place. The same has to be with your public schools as well. There has to be an LSIN. It's a requirement from the Department of Education. So, do you not think it's just particular schools who are not following that protocol? We're actually going to take a quick short break and we'll unpack on that straight after the break.
All right.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Over 33 million people have been affected by the devastating floods in Pakistan. Homes have been destroyed, crops have been swept away, and roads have been damaged. Families are mourning their loved ones while trying to survive these horrific conditions. Penny Appeal is on the ground now, delivering food, shelter, medical supplies, and water to those in need. You can help save a life by donating today. Visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Africa. Did you know a sponsored water well and borehole allows children to go back to school, empowers communities, and is a means of sadaqah jariyah? There are many villages in Africa and Afghanistan that are in need of water wells and boreholes. Sponsor a water well in Africa at 14,500 rand, or a borehole in Africa and Afghanistan at 49,500 rand. Call Africa Muslims Agency on 011 834 8685 or donate at Africa Muslims Agency. That's africamuslims.co.za. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Devastating floods in Pakistan have washed away villages, claimed the lives of more than 1,000 people, damaged nearly 1 million homes, and left over 33 million people in desperate need of help. As the catastrophe unfolds, Islamic Relief is on the ground, reaching people with life-saving aid. Our team are working tirelessly to deliver food and shelter. Your support is urgently needed now to help save more lives. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
It's 11:36 and you're back with me, Fazila Isaac, on the mid-morning talk on Salam Media. So we were speaking to Vanessa Nelson on the curriculums that are not suitable for kids with learning disabilities in mainstream schooling. So before we get into that, let's just get the experience of one of the parents. Ms. Ruby, can you tell us your experience with your child and the schooling system?
My child on 2016. She ik ga Afrikaans praten.
It's fine.
2016 het ik al gestruggeld met mijn kind op school. Hulle het die probleem opgetel op die school, maar hulle het nooit by my inform van nie. En so het dit aangegaan en aangegaan. Op 2018 het ek my neighbor Vanessa, sy het vir my gehelp en ons het na die skool toe gegaan en sy het hulle vrae gevra en almal by. En hulle het gesê sy het die psychologist gesien, psychologist, ja. En die psychologist het gesê as niks fout met my klimaat, maar daar is fout samen na, sy het 'n learning disability. En ek sukkel nou nog om in te kry van 2016 sukkel ek nou nog om vir Colin by School of Skills in te kom. Die week vir Colin is te zwaar op die normal skole. En sy sê vir my, mommy, I can't cope with this work because it's too much for me. En sy is baie goed met haar hande, soos hairdressing, whatever, sy is goed met my. Maar as ek kom by schoolweek, dan kan Colin nie reg fokus nie. So, ek was vir die school hier wat sy nou is nou by Ketken High, eerste jaar op Ketken. En sy sukkel gevaarlik met die werk. En as sy vir die juffrouwens vrou, whatever, dan sit hulle vir uit die klas het, as hulle vir sy huis toe gaan. En ek meen, dit is nog aan. Hulle is daar met kinders doen hier, maar kyk wat doen hulle sit die kinders in die klas het. En ek het nou met hulle gepraat en hulle gevra vir my vir 'n psychologist. Iemand wat sy nou mee kan praat. Hulle het vir my gesê, hulle kan nie nou met die deel, want hulle is met matriculante. Maar onlangs het hulle net onlangs haar pa genoem en hy is ook nou nog meer op haar mind, nog so so aan. Wat hulle veel van haar, because ek meen, sy wou by 'n School of Skills en sy is baie goed met haar. En hulle het vir my gesê, kan jy die psychologist sien nie, maar hoekom nie my kind bekend trust sy help, sy bekend nou die help. Hulle vertel vir my van matriculante en allemaal die dinge, ek is daar van matriculante, en ek is daar vir my kind, en sy bekend help. So, dus kom ek sê, Ketken High, veel my kind. En een keer kom hulle vorentoe om vir my te sê, wat gaan aan nie, ek moet vir hulle bel, en as ek dan toe gaan, as die principal nooit by die school nie, of die principal is uit of wat, maar hulle kan nie vir my antwoord nie. So, ek denk hulle is baie nalatig, maar het kom by my kind, want sy was wel, sy het amper vir julle week die school, en een keer het hulle gebel vir my om te vraag, waar is die kind nie, wat gaat aan nie, niks so zijn nie. En daar had ek nou my werk gelos, dan my kind het vir my baie nodig. Ek het daar gesê, sy moet nie werk Sy moenie worry nie. Ek kan daar met vir haar. Ek gaan daar by staan en sy pa ook nog van hoor. So ek is aan pa buite staan en ek worry nie van weekie. So ek is aan vir haar te help. Nou iets wat sy nou nodig het van my. Ek is daar vir haar van sy sê sy moet ek by haar wees want as sy in die mark van die skool uit die skool kom en dan is haar pa daar vir haar. So haar pa is nou meer daar nie. So ek het nou my werk opgegee om self na my kind te kyk en self na om te sien. Baie dankie.
Yeah, I see. You know, your circumstances are obviously tales that many parents would tell. You know, it's not something that any parent would want to go through, especially with your child. You know, and losing, of course, her father, the support system. You know, I hear you say that the child does not. Obviously, the child is failing in class, etc., etc. And you also mentioned in the same breath that your child does have other talents as well. I think as parents, there should be an understanding that not all our children are book smart, not all our children, other children are good with their hands, other children are. So there's different because there's different learning styles that we have. You know, you have your kinetic learners, your oral learners. All these children, they learn in a different way. So we cannot take that away from our kids as well. You know, I'm so glad that your child does something that she loves, you know. So being a supportive parent, that is brilliant that you are actually helping her in order to be better at what she's actually good at and not have a give up on that system just because you find that the schooling system has failed her. So
Yes.
you know, it's nice to actually explore those avenues and not just think all children are meant to just read books, you know, and meant to get A's. It's not that way. And it's the
Yes.
same thing that we got from you, Vanessa, saying that, you know what, the schools are not interested in upskilling their teachers in order for them to assist the learners who have these inabilities, you know. Do you think it's particular to only certain schools, or do you think that it's just across the education department?
Fazila, it is across the Western Cape. Let me tell you quickly. So when we started with this program in the beginning of the year, I was calling out and looking for champions in our respective communities on the Cape Flats. So we've got champions in Mitchells Plain, Bonteville, Retreat, all over that came forward and have reported the struggle and challenges that they've and the fight, the battle. It's an actual battle. It's a fight with with the schools, with the department, to get support for their children. So there's a lot of women. We've done what we're doing on our Facebook page is live content, interviewing the moms in sharing their stories. But let me just give you an update, an actual factual update about Ruby's daughter. So Ruby's child was assessed in 2016 without the knowledge, without the consent. 2018, Ruby contacted me. I went with her to the school. Upon our arrival, her portfolio was there. The support teacher then gave me the file. I went through it. And in all of from grade 1, there was mention made of Colin's struggles and challenges and the support that she needed. And so from grade 1 up to grade 4, in fact, that time it was grade 3, there was no intervention, no support given for Colin. However, the district psychologist that made an assessment on Colin never actually in that 2 years handed over the report or outcomes to the school, and she was at Heidelberg Primary School. Then upon, only after the meeting, subsequent to our meeting, it was then requested. So the district psychologist made a very incorrect assessment on Colin, saying that Colin belongs in the mainstream. And I challenged that because I did an assessment on Colin, and Colin, an assessor, I found that she was ADD. And so 2022, Colin is sitting in grade 8 at Kafkanai, whereby she cannot absorb, she does not understand. And when she tells the teachers she does not understand, the teachers are telling her that she just simply does not want to learn and that she must leave the classroom. So Colin's challenges together with the mom. A mom is not actually saying that the reason why she is losing a job, not just simply to support Colin. Ruby has been staying out of work, going to every Wednesday. She travels, and she's always been a single parent because her late husband was a very sick man. And so she travels every Wednesday to town to take her daughter out of Heideveld, travel to Cape Town for extra support. There was no guarantee that she's going to get in there. She still takes her every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then there's other days that, so when Colin left the primary school, she went to high school, her portfolio was not even given into the high school. And it was her responsibility to take off from work to try and get her portfolio. Ruby stayed out of work many times and she appeared at work for being absent. So absenteeism became a problem for Ruby. And so finally, her family and all of everybody stepped in. I wasn't available at the time to assist her to get Colin Nay's portfolio. She handed the portfolio in at the high school. I don't think they even opened it up, because if they did, they would have called her in to say that, Mrs. Nay, yes, we find that there is a learning disability. This is a type of interventions we can make. They've not done this.
I
And now
think
I'm
it's
only
more
going to
of
use,
it's
beg
a
your
lot
pardon?
of and it's an administration issue, I would assume, at the schools that are there in the Western Cape, in that, again, like you said, there's no communication with the parents. So if they had to foster that relationship with the parents in the area, there would be a better understanding from both sides, and both sides can do what's needed to be done. So I would
But let me
think.
just tell you, Fazila, sorry,
Mhm.
just a half a minute. The support is at the schools. The
Yeah.
schools is not implementing the support. That's the problem.
Oh,
They're
I
not
see.
doing
Yes,
it.
100%. So it's just not, again, like we say, it's administration. It's an administration issue. They are not going through or following through with what they are required to do.
And
Okay.
there is no accountability, and there's no recourse, there's no follow-ups, there's no interventions, there's no support. And so we find, how do that child exit foundation phase going into the intermediate phase, and then exit primary school going into high school, when it is not just simply, I hear what you're saying, administration. It's the fact
Yeah.
that we're aware that teachers are overworked and it's got the classes is too full and whatever. At the end of the day, if that is the stance of, it's too much administration and
Mm.
too much of this, and children are not getting the support, are we then led to believe that the current curriculum, the current school systems and everything is in place, is working for our children? Then definitely there's a big problem. We have now,
100%.
yes, they've now have matriculants giving the support. Why can't they call on the old teachers to come back? Why can't the teachers, there's so many teachers at home that can't find work. There is,
Yes.
I mean, come to us on the ground and we'll give you a plan, man. A plan that will actually work
Yes,
for
I
our
hear
children.
you. I hear you. Vanessa, it was so intriguing and interesting listening to all of this. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Hopefully, the right people get to see this and start taking action, start making sure that these things actually change, and it's change for the better, because, we have the saying, everybody comes out, oh, the children are the future, so actually take the reality of the children being the future and take their education as serious as the parents would, and as serious as the children would as well. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really, really good, listening to your concerns, and hopefully, like I said, the right people gets to the right people's ears, and proper changes are made in order to assist all of the people in the areas that are being affected by this. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Fazila. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you very much.